What's poppin', Saints fans? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. For today's video, I wanted to do something a little bit different. You know, it's the dog days of the NFL offseason, so we're trying to be creative with some of our content. So I hopped into the PFF Game Simulator, and we're going to run through their record prediction. And I'm also, on today's show, going to give some bold predictions of my own for the 2023 season with the New Orleans Saints. So before we get into that, guys, predict it for me. What will the Saints record be in 2023? My personal record prediction earlier this offseason was 11 wins. So keep that in mind. What do you think the Saints will have as their final record in the 2023 season? All right, so PFF, here is what they listed for the Saints. They projected the Saints going 14-3. They gave them a season grade of an A. So you start off week 1 and week 2 with losses to the Tennessee Titans, and then at Carolina. You get a win versus Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Take down Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. You take down the New England Patriots at Foxborough, and then you also take down C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans with a brand new team under DeMeco Ryans. The Jags on Thursday Night Football, you blow them out 50-34 in week 8. You also beat the Colts in a 40-0 shutout. Week 9, you beat the Bears. Week 10, you beat Patrick Seatman's Vikings, not Skull, and then you have the Week 11 bye. Week 12, you take down the Fail Cants, and then you take down the Lions and C.J. Gardner-Johnson in Week 13. Week 14, you do lose to the Panthers, so you get swept by Carolina. It's unfortunate, but it happens. PFF predicted it, not me. Don't shoot the messenger. And then you beat Daniel Jones and the Giants. You beat Matthew Stafford and the Rams. You take down the Succaneers again, and then you sweep the Falcons yet again. And so for Derek Carr's projection for the completions per attempts, 371 completions to 566 attempts, a 65.5 completion percentage, 27 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, and 4,630 yards. So my bold prediction for Derek Carr, I think that he could have a career season. I think that he is in a great system with a lot of talent on that team, and I truly do believe because of the Saints defense, Derek Carr will have a lot less pressure on him, so he will be able to perform even better. But let's take a look at the wide receivers simulation and what the top 3 wide receivers did. So in the PFF simulation, they actually had Alvin Kamara as the 3rd leading receiver with 69 receptions, 2 touchdowns, and 587 yards. But these are your wide receiver 1, 2, and 3, and here's how they shook out. 75 receptions for Michael Thomas and Chris Olave. Olave did have 1,200 yards, almost 1,300, 6 touchdowns. He continues to be a legitimate wide receiver 1, a second year in a row of 1,000-plus yards. Michael Thomas has a bounce-back year, 1,000 yards receiving, 75 receptions, and 3 touchdowns. And Rashid, the need for speed, Shaheed, 19 receptions, 293 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And I do believe Rashid Shaheed will have some rushing value as well, as we saw in that Bengals game on that jet sweep when he took it to the house. So a bold prediction for Chris Olave. I think that he solidifies himself as the true wide receiver 1 for this team this season. I think last year he was the wide receiver 1. But this year, with a healthy Michael Thomas and with Michael Thomas playing throughout most of the season, hopefully, I think that Chris Olave will truly stand himself out as a wide receiver 1 with MT as a very strong supporter in wide receiver 2. Rashid Shaheed, I still think, is your wide receiver 3 at the end of the season. But guys, let me know, who's going to be the leading wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints this season? Is it going to be Chris Olave type CO? If you think it's going to be Michael Thomas, give me an MT in the comment section. And if you think it's going to be the speedster, type RS for Rashid Shaheed. So another bold prediction that I have is that the Saints will trade for a wide receiver. So I'm going to tell you to also do this. Keep your eyes out on Davante Adams and Hunter Renfrow. As we all know, there has been ties, there's been some rumblings, there's been some rumors and some buzz, if you will, around both Hunter Renfrow and Davante Adams separately joining the New Orleans Saints. And I've talked about it on Twitter, I've talked about it on YouTube before, but I think that the Raiders could be in the position to possibly trade away one of these wide receivers when you approach the trade deadline. So I want to get to Alvin Kamara here because, you know, if y'all saw yesterday's video, we saw the news. He pleaded no contest. NFL will hand out a punishment soon, but as of right now, legal battle is over from the Las Vegas situation during the Pro Bowl weekend. But for Kamara's projections, 281 carries, 1,576 yards, 2,163 total yards, and 21 touchdowns in total. So a bold prediction for Kamara. I think that the coaching staff finally uses him correctly. I think that last year we all saw him just not be used the way we wanted to. The team was not getting Kamara the ball in open space. They weren't throwing the ball on a screen. They weren't letting him do what he does best, and that's get downfield. And I think that this year the coaching staff figures it out. So in terms of his receiving production over the past 4 years as well, you can take a look at the numbers. They're pretty impressive, and I think that's a big part of Alvin Kamara's game, and I want to see Kamara get back to these numbers and put up 500 plus yards in receiving, 3 to 5 touchdowns on the ground. I want to see him get upwards of 60 plus receptions because I think that he's best used whenever he is used versatilely. Whenever he's being used as a versatile player. So in terms of Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller, Jamal Williams had 107 carries, 633 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Pretty damn good for a running back too, I'd say. And Kendre Miller, your draft pick in this year's 3rd round out of TCU. Kendre Miller, 31 carries, 77 yards, 0 touchdowns. Doesn't get utilized a ton, but again, it's PFF's projection, so we're just talking about it. But guys, don't jinx it. If you want Alvin Kamara to have a bounce-back season, if you want AK-41 to get back on top of the running back conversation, hit that thumbs up icon, like this video. If we get like 250 likes, no question about it, I think that Alvin Kamara will have a phenomenal season. So PFF didn't do stat projections for the defense, so I put my own together, and we're going to start off with wham, bam, thank you, Cam. I think that he tallies 10 sacks. I think that he has a great season. I think that he comes in the year with a lot of energy. You have a strong defensive end in Isaiah Foskey opposite of him, and I think that that allows Cameron Jordan to take that step to be a 10-sack defensive end once again. And then Isaiah Foskey, I think that he ends up starting opposite of Cameron Jordan. And this is not a new take that I've had. I've been saying that for weeks at this point. Carl Granderson, he's a fine football player, and I think that he has a lot of talent. But Isaiah Foskey is a guy who is very intriguing, and he has a lot of talent, and he is a grinder. So Marshon Lattimore, we didn't get to see him a ton last season. I think he gets 4 interceptions. I think that he goes crazy this year. Y'all remember him housing that ball on Gardner Minshew against the Eagles in Philadelphia at the end of the season last year? Once we got him back, Marshon took no time, and he wasted no time showing how good of a football player he is. So I think Marshon Lattimore shows once again that he is a top 3 cornerback in the NFL. Tyrann Mathieu, I think that he forces 8 turnovers in total, whether that's interceptions, whether it's forced fumbles. Last year, he led the team with 3 interceptions. I think that he also will force some fumbles. I think he'll lead the team in tackling as well. But I think that Tyrann Mathieu will force 8 total turnovers this season. And the last one, Alontae Taylor breakout. Last year, we saw Alontae Taylor have so many close calls for interceptions, and he just was a dog. And one of my favorite things about Alontae Taylor is that he doesn't play scared. And I think that he is going to be a guy who this season really takes a step. I mean, he didn't rack up any interceptions last year, had 11 passes defended, and he only started in 9 games. He played in 13 total, but I think Alontae Taylor takes a huge step and puts himself on the map in the terms of quality defensive backs in the NFL. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content. As always, share your thoughts in the comment section. Hit that thumbs up icon. Don't forget to subscribe. And y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time.